How close is this rivalry? In the Coach K era, Duke has won 37 times and North Carolina has won 37 times. Some of the most bitter physical games in the past 30 years were in the late 80s and early 90s, and the one player who loomed largest in those days was Duke's Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner, he's got another one. That's just an unbelievable weapon. I mean, are you kidding me? That's why he's the National Player of the Year. Laettner has now hit 20 of his last 29 three-point attempts. He has been on a tear. How about Laettner? How nice is that move?
And joining me now to talk about tonight's big game between Carolina and Duke great Christian Laettner. Christian, thank you for joining us. First thing, let's go back through your years in the rivalry. Is there one game that stands out for you when you were playing at Duke?
Yes, I always remember my sophomore year. No, I'm sorry, it was my freshman year. Carolina came into Cameron and just kicked our butts. And then I remember our sophomore year, Bobby Hurley was a freshman and King Rice was the point guard for Carolina. And King Rice was just getting the better of Bobby all game and trying to taunt him and big boy him a little bit. And I had to step between those two a little bit because I think Bobby was going to get physical with him. But it's just the best matchup in college basketball, if you ask me. I mean, think about the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Celtics and the Lakers. I think the nation and college basketball and basketball as a whole looks forward to the Duke-Carolina game so much every year. And sometimes they play 3 times a year, regular season and in the ACC tournament. So it just makes for a great environment.
I know one of the great games you played in was that '89 ACC title game. You talk about 3 times a year, very physical. You talk about another game that got physical. That's one of my memories of especially some of your matchups with North Carolina. It got physical the year Eric Montross was bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, well, there was a few years there where they had Montross and Salvadori and a lot of fouls to use that on me. And there was times where I had to protect myself and bring my elbows out a little bit. But Montross is so good and so big, you got to kind of play physical with him because if you don't, he's just going to eat you up.
Now, some people might not know, sure you ended up at Duke, but I think you also were thinking about going to Carolina, right? How did you make that decision?
Well, of course, there's a lot of guys like me who almost went to Carolina and decided on Duke or vice versa. And I know Grant Hill was really close to going to Carolina and decided on Duke at the last second. So it's just because they're both such great basketball programs, such great history and tradition. They're powerhouses. And it's just whether you like Carolina's style of playing and their coaches a little more, or if you like Duke's style of playing. And when I decided to go to Duke, it was just because Coach K was younger. He wasn't quite at the top. He was getting there. And I wanted to help him, get his first championship.
You talk about Coach K. Today is his birthday. I'm guessing you guys in the middle of February weren't having a candles on top of a cake at practice every year.
You'd be surprised. There was maybe 2 years out of my 4 where we were not doing that, and then there might have been 2 years where things were going really good. He was happy with us, and he might have had us over to his house. And his wife always makes chocolate chip brownie cookies, which I really love. So we would go over there, and I'm sure there was a few times where we had a birthday party for him.
Christian, I know now you're still in touch with a lot of Duke fans and alumni. In fact, I think while most of us will be watching basketball nonstop, you're actually going to go skiing, right, with some Duke alumni?
Well, March Madness is coming up, and it's going to really hurt being heli skiing from March 7th through the 10th because I might miss some basketball games. But I just want everyone to know about the fantasy heli ski weekend that I set up with Heli Tracks out in Colorado. Come skiing with me for 3 days from, like I said, March 7th through the 10th. We'll eat some meals together, eat lunch out on the slopes. We'll ski untouched powder, champagne powder, the fluffiest powder in the world, and we'll have a great time skiing. So if you're an intermediate level skier or above and you want to try heli skiing or you've done it before and you know you love it, come join me and we'll have a great weekend.
Christian Laettner, the only player to start in 4 Final Fours, 2 national titles with the Duke Blue Devils. Thanks very much for taking a few minutes with us.
Say that, go to LaettnerBball.com if you want to see all the ski info. Thank you.